In this video, well, actually the next several videos, it's going to be a long project, but I'm going to be working on something that's been a long time coming. We've got a shop to build. So I don't know how many of you remember, if anybody, but when we first moved here, we were given pieces to a shop. And in reality, we got I'm going to call them the arches. And got the legs that mount to the ground, and then the trusses are right there. And then last year, given all the sheet metal, and because everything's been really on a tight budget out here, you know, it's the whole goal of the channel. I've been putting it off because these wood beams are going to be really expensive. And as a matter of fact, right now, we're in the COVID-19 pandemic, and lumber prices have skyrocketed. So I wasn't even planning on building this year until my neighbor that originally gave this to me said, "Hey, why don't you come by and get the rest of it? I'm not going to use the lumber. I'm not going to use the wood. I just want it off my property. So come on and get it." So we get to start building this thing. I have a few days off of work. Unfortunately, towards the end of the week, it's going to get pretty windy. So we may only get the framing up because these panels here, the metal panels, are going to be like sails when the wind gets up to 30, 40 miles an hour on Friday. Might be able to deal with it when the wind is in the teens, but once Friday hits, if everything's not up and done, it's pretty much going to be at a standstill. Be working on it on the weekends or something. All right, so first things we need to do is, need to count how many of these sheets I have, because this is only part of a building, so I don't know the exact measurements of what this is going to be, so it's going to be based on how many sheets we have, and of course it'll have to go off both sides, and then the roof as well as the front and the back. So I've got to figure all that out. Hopefully today I'll be going to my neighbor's house to get the rest of the beams, because he's kind of itching to get them out of there. I got to see which ones are good. As you can see, this one kind of sketchy. It's got a little bit of rot in it. I'm digging that with a screwdriver, see how deep it goes. None of these are going to be load bearing. All the load bearing pieces are the metal ones right there. These are just the tie beams that go from one to the next, one piece of metal to the next. So figure this out. I don't think it's going to be too bad. Of course, I could be wrong. I'll just chip away at it or something, figure it out. That piece is good. That piece was really bad, so I cut it off and used what I could for another project. Still have, I think, from here the rest. I could use that for whatever, but anyways, got to figure out how many sheets we have. Got to count all the screw holes, at least the screw holes in one sheet, and then multiply it by how many sheets we have so we know how many screws to get. And go over here. You have to figure out how many of these guys are useful. As you can see, there's a nice twist in a few of them. There used to be, forklifts going in and out of this building, so bump into it with a forklift. It's pretty much a done deal, but if I can get, let me think here. So I can get 32, if I can get 48 feet out of it, I would be more than happy. Which I believe there's 5 of these. So I'll count these guys over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's supposed to be like a 60-foot section, so if I can get most of that, I'd be more than happy. I suppose it'll work down to 32 feet, but I'm hoping to be able to store lumber for the house build, which if we actually do an A-frame house, then and going to need it all 30 feet, if not longer. to store that wood, because it's going to have to go like from one corner clear up to that peak and then back down, and then the bottom ones are going to be just as long. But anyways, got to figure that out. And I got to go through, let's see here, I think it's all of these guys. These holes here, got to auger those out, got to make them bigger, because once again, I don't have the right bolts for these. Most of them were cut, they're all rusted, but I was able to get a bunch of bolts that are just a little bit too big. So I'll have to make these holes bigger. I got a couple of step bits that I should be able to work with these. Hopefully these, it's pretty thick. It's going to take a lot of work, but hopefully I'll be able to get through those. And of course, same with all of these guys here. Get out of there. There we go. Those holes there. So got to make them big enough for the bolts to fit through. It looks like for these upper ones, you got some pretty big bolts that would go through there. This is where some of the timbers would go across, connecting from one to the next. So I'm either going to get some big bolts or, yeah, I don't know. It would have to be big bolts. I'd have to take some measurements, and because I believe that the bigger beams have holes through them. It's supposed to be where those things go. There's on this side, then there's on the other side there. I'm going to tie them together. And as soon as I figure that out, hold on a second, I can get to come right in here and weed eat the crap out of this whole area. This is where it's going to be sitting. I'm going to start at these 4x2 posts here and work its way back. I think from there to here is 30 feet. So it could be clear out to here. We'll see. I mean, this whole area is fairly level. Get a tractor out here just to make sure. And then, because it needs to be a temporary building, we have these guys, which are going to be the feet. A bunch of 2x6 steel tubes, like square tubing. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, I got enough for all of them if I choose to use them. If we can straighten out some of those pieces. Let's see here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's so. I'm gonna go ahead and I think I'm gonna weed eat first, just in case get a volunteer with a tractor to come in here. So I'll just check back with you in a minute. Alright, now that is a load of freaking wood. One thing I really love about that truck there, I handled all this in one shot. Got like 3x6s, got a couple of 4x6s it looks like, 4x8s. Looks like 3x5s, a bunch more 3x6s, and then got some crap wood. There's like rotten stuff on those guys. Might have to sort through them all. And this all goes for the shop. I'm probably only going to be using half of this. We'll see. I got to do an actual count to see how big it can be and just sort through this accordingly. All this stuff is all usable. That right there most likely is not. And then these go along the roof. These are the walls, like the supports for the walls. This for the roof. You have 12 of these, I know that for sure. I'm not sure about the walls. I have to figure that out. But that's, for the most part, that's what I'm doing today. And go ahead and figure out what I need and the size of the shop, and that'll be good for the next video. Well, everyone, finally happened. Needed new impact driver, and a drill. Ended up buying a whole kit. This is the Ryobi 18 1 Plus tool kit, 18 volts. Comes with circular saw, flashlight, which is, whatever. I honestly can't remember the actual name of this saw, but if you recognize it, you know what it is. It also comes with a sanding pad for detail sanding. Of course, the impact driver, drill, saber saw, and it comes with a 4 amp hour battery and a 1.5 amp hour battery, as well as a bag. And as of yesterday, when we got it, they're having a promotion. You get that battery with it, 2 amp hour battery. So $299. You get a free battery, which that thing's like $50 or something. Definitely a good deal. And we didn't know about it until we actually went down to Home Depot to get it. So don't order it online. Don't pay for it online. Go in and physically ask about it, or else you never know if you're actually going to get it. Alright, I hope you can still hear me. It's getting pretty windy, but I already went and tested out the circular saw on this wood here. This is about 3-inch, cuts about halfway down. I flip them over and cut the other way. You can actually see like the stagger in there, but it just zipped right through those beams like butter. Now these are the beams for the shop, by the way. I'll give you an update here in a second about it. And over here, I did kind of a hack job, but I wanted to try out the saber saw. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I did the saber saw on these two guys, and then the drill with a spade bit for these two holes here. Just went through the whole thing like butter. Well, saber saw, I think, was actually too thick. This is more like 3.5 inch, but they had to be trimmed up and reposition those holes. So yeah, if you want a set of tools, go down to Home Depot, grab them, and ask about the free 2 amp hour battery promotion. And now we'll do a little bit of update on the shop. I went and sorted out all the good wood. You have the we'll just call these timbers. I got the roof timbers, or roof beams. Yeah, beams would be better. Roof beams. These are for the wall, or one wall. This is for another wall. For some weird reason, these two big guys are cut 2 different lengths. One is 192 inches, the other one's 190 inches. So one section of the shop's going to be 2 inches longer than the other, and that's why I cut those guys down in order to match these beams over here. And then same thing with these, I had to cut these guys down. But we'll go over to the rest of it. Well, we'll actually go right here and give you an update on those. They're still all ready to go. The gentleman with the tractor came by, did some more leveling. He wants me to bring in some gravel or crushed concrete. Probably do a bunch of crushed concrete. It's a lot cheaper. I think it's like $9.50 per ton. So I'm gonna get a few loads of that in here. Alrighty, and we got, I'll call them arches, but 3 metal frame sections, 3 metal arches done. Well, I don't know, I guess you wouldn't call them done, but there's 3 of them. What needs to happen is we have these 4 bolts here, and then on the other side of the frame, on the back side, there's holes for 4 more bolts that we just can't get to. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these guys, bolt the feet on, get them set up and into place, and then we'll just get up with a ladder and put the bolts on the other side. Yeah, there we go. Over here, as you can see, we put the four-wheeler to work, dragging these things around. Definitely not light. All right, and we got this guy kind of blocked up here because pulled it over here. It was like the best of the worst because all the rest of them are just, you know, all bent out of shape. But this guy was originally bent upwards. We backed the truck over it to bend it down, and it bent it too far. So we ended up having to, you know, just kind of go back and forth, just take it easy. And we got it pretty straight. You know, it's all used material. It's not going to be perfect, but as long as it holds up the roof, that's the main thing that matters. Yeah, so that's as far as we got today. I'm going to do some moving around of the wood, try to get it staged kind of where it needs, and then we'll check back with you. Good morning, everyone. This video is about a year in the making. I've got a few clips that I put up. I got a few clips that I'll be putting up. Back when we first got all the materials to build the shop. And, you know, for one reason or another, it never got built last year. So, ended up trying to figure out exactly how I was going to get this done. And I'll just say, thank God for friends with connections. You know, it's, you know, a really good friend of mine. You know, kept trying to figure out how we were going to get this done. And, well, to say long story short, he got this guy right there. And we worked on a deal to make it so we can use it to put up the frame of the shop. So right now, I'm just going over all of these holes. We put these together last year. We drilled and tapped them. These are the feet for the shop. I call them arches. The frame is where they actually bolt down to. Need to double check all those beams, make sure they're the right length, because there's two different lengths. We got all the hardware out. We got all this stuff last year. Funny thing is, these big black guys, I don't know where they go. I know where those ones go. Those ones, those ones, those ones, with nuts and everything that goes with them, but I don't remember where those go. There's no holes in any of this wood that they fit. So I'm not exactly sure. I might be ending up pulling out a spade bit and making these holes bigger or something. But I suppose that's good enough anyways, because I have a socket that'll fit that, but it's a 3/4 inch drive ratchet. I do not have a 3/4 inch drive ratchet, nor do I have an adapter that'll fit it. So that's going to be fun. I got a mallet to beat things in place. Got some 4x4s that I'll probably rip down the center. Got some windows left over. I'm not sure if I'm going to use those on the shop or on the travel trailer when we close it in. All the sheets, the walls, and the roof. We had a windstorm a few days ago, so that's why that's over there and not here. Blew this beam off of it. And out there somewhere, you can see one there, and oh, the other one is out here. You can't really see it, but those guys are parts of the shop. They're the arches, main metal frame. So hope this thing's strong enough to lift it. I think it is. But I better get ready. My friend's going to be here in probably like 15-20 minutes. Spent the morning gathering stuff up. So I'm going to get back to making sure these are workable. And I'll probably just put up a time lapse. I might do a couple of close-up videos of me bolting them in or something like that. But all right, I'll check back in later. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we got to today. We didn't do a whole lot. Basically, we discovered that the mining excavator wouldn't go up high enough. You need something that probably goes up, 20 feet, just to be safe. Probably the next course of action would be to get a crane, but renting a crane, we would have to budget like $1,500, maybe even $2,000. But right now we're really hardcore at trying to save up money for a well, so we don't want to get set back, $2,000 just to put up the shop. And yeah, it'd be useful, but we might just wait. Maybe we'll rent a crane and put up the shop and the house at the same time. But anyways, this is where it's going to sit for now. Next step on the homestead is doing a bunch of weed eating and stuff. But anyways, hopefully I'll be able to give you guys updates here and there about it. And we'll see you in the next video.